Welcome to Gumball Love. I'm Melissa Ledger, professional relationship coach, creator of Gumball Love and the Back to You Academy. If you're ready to stop the cycle of toxic men, get through the breakup once and for all, and finally get back to you, you are in the right place. This journey is about healing your heart, and you are encouraged to take the pace that is just right for you. In the process, you will build a foundation of confidence and strength that will make you unshakable, I promise. So get ready to level up your mindset and your lifestyle as you awaken the seeds of greatness just waiting to burst into full bloom. Let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of Gumball Love. I'm your host, Melissa Ledger. Oh my gosh, you guys. So I am so excited for this episode because if you've been following me in social media, you know on February 7th, I got engaged to my love, Iain Roberts. And you guys, it was so completely magical. We decided to fly to Florida and we spent 11 days, which was crazy because we ended up extending our trip a couple of days for work reasons. And it was just like, if you know our significance of 11s, it was just like, of course we would end up staying 11 days instead of 9 days. But anyway, we went to Marco Island in Florida on the West Coast, and Iain spent a lot of time growing up in Bermuda, so knows how to drive big boats. And so he rented this big boat, just the two of us. We drove out to one of the islands. It's called 10,000 Islands, and it was just this. He had the spot picked out. He wanted to be at the tip of this one particular island in Cape Romano, and so I knew it was going to happen at some point that week. Because we had to do a little pre-planning because we have family all over the world, and it's, to put a wedding together, an engagement, we had to get a few things lined up. So I did know it was going to happen on this trip. I did not know it was happening that day because he had all these wonderful romantic things planned all week. And I also just want you guys to know that as I say these things, I just think about the previous single me that would not fully enjoy the story. And I've been struggling with this a little bit, just telling you guys the happy parts because I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, this is never going to happen to me. I'm telling you this because I feel like this is going to happen for you. If I didn't think this could happen for you, I wouldn't tell the story. I would just kind of downplay it and I would move forward. But I really want to share this piece of it because, I've dated a lot of gumball guys and had what I thought were romantic experiences, and at the time, maybe they were. They were at the time. I didn't know any different. And Iain has shown me what it really looks like when it's actual love and what it really looks like when someone cares for you so deeply. And I think that that's been a 2-year plus reconciliation process for me, is to really understand this man actually loves me for who I am. And I love him for who he is. And so when I experienced the engagement, we drive out to the island and he put a blanket out and a little picnic. And we're the only people on this island. My sister's like, how did you know no one would be on that island? And I think there was like one person there, but then, people would just pull up with their boats and most people were out in the water fishing. So I think I remember one person walked down the beach and then that was it. I never saw a person for the rest of the time we were there. And so, we were just out there by ourselves all day, and the weather was beautiful because could have been a little chilly in February in Florida, but that day it was in the 80s. It was sunny. It was just perfect. So he had set up a tripod to take time-lapse videos, and I was like, okay, are you going to record our proposal in a time lapse? I remember thinking like, is it going to happen here? And then he would take the tripod down. He would do a whole time-lapse video. We were out in the sun just laying there. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we walked down the beach and he takes the tripod with him. I'm like, okay, are you like making it that obvious right now that you're going to like set up a tripod? And then, so then sets up the tripod again, takes some pictures. And then he's like, takes a video for his dad. And he's like, say hi to your future daughter-in-law. And I'm like, okay, but we're not engaged yet. What's going on? And then, takes the tripod down again. So he actually we went back to our little spot where our blanket and chairs were, and I did not see him put the tripod up again. So he was like, do you want to play some music or something? And I'm like, okay. And just not something he probably would have normally said. And so I was like, my music, my random, like, could be ballroom dancing music to rap to classical, like my music is so random. And we didn't have internet, so I couldn't play anything. I had to play like what happens to be actually downloaded on my phone. I was like, well, this will be interesting. So the first song that I played was Take My Breath Away by Berlin. If you know the song, if you know from Top Gun, I'm such a dork, but I love movie soundtracks. And so that was the first song I played. But then I was like, oh my gosh, this moment is so beautiful. It's just so pretty out here. I'm just going to take my phone and record a video. And so I stopped, obviously, when we had my phone hooked up to our Bluetooth speaker. And when I started recording the video, it stopped the music. And he was like, oh, you don't like that song? And I said, no, I just wanted to kind of record the moment. Meanwhile, I'm being recorded by his phone. Still don't know. So he starts saying all these nice things. And I didn't turn, he was standing behind me getting the ring out of his bag. And I didn't know. So I was recording the opposite direction. And then he started saying like loving things. And I turned my camera around and without looking behind me, which is also like, what are the odds I would have done that? And then he kind of kissed me in my chair upside down. And then he walked around and I kept like filming him as he was walking around. And then he got down on one knee and I just went, oh, honey, like, oh my God, it's happening. So I literally just threw my phone down. I was like, I'm not going to sit here and record you while you're proposing. I just wanted to like be in that moment, which is also something that the old me may have just done anyway. I may have just kept recording because I would have thought, should I do that? Should I not do that? And I was so I know who I am. I know what I want. And I know that I want to be in that moment. And I just, without question, I just tossed my phone. I didn't even stop recording. It would just like continue to record the audio, but it just like goes black because I just threw my phone down. And because I just wanted to look into his eyes, I wanted to be in that moment. I didn't want to have to think about anything else. And so I felt so calm and so ready and secure. And I want you guys to hear that more than anything, because I think that when we see people get engaged on TV and movies, we hear about it, we might, and look, everybody's different. And I'm not going to say that people that feel different are not in a good relationship, because I think, you really have to know a person to know the story. But if there's hesitancy or anxiety or I don't know, like I just feel like if there's a pressure like on a timeline, I better do this now or it may not ever happen. And you see the ring and you get all excited about the ring. And I think like if you felt like as I experienced being engaged, I was just like, I just feel so happy. I feel calm. I feel like I am. And I started, we actually had to start wedding planning because we're getting married in five months basically. And so it was 5.5 months when we got engaged. So we had to book our venue in the church and those things right away because we were going to lose the spots. And so through the planning, my sister was like, let's do this and let's do that. And I didn't feel the urgency to do a lot of things. I wanted to make sure we secured our locations, and obviously music was the next big thing I wanted to get secured. So there are things you have to do to get done. But I didn't feel, and I still don't feel this sense of it has to be like this or this bridezilla. It just feels like this is what I want, and I really hope it comes together. But if it doesn't exactly like I want it, I just want to make sure that we're present, that we are enjoying our family, that we're able to share our relationship with people that may not be able to be around us, that the people that come in from out of town, from England, from Canada, Iain's family, his father's in Canada, his mother and sister and brother-in-law are all in England, and his niece and nephew. So we have people that are coming from all over. And my focus is making sure that we are enjoying them, because I was also thinking my real focus is marriage. I guess that's kind of like what I'm most excited about, is just that we'll be married, and it's not about like, okay, so I'll just tell you a little bit of a secret. Yesterday I found my dress, and it was the weirdest thing, because I walked in, tried on one dress, and I'm not going to talk about what the dress is. It's going to be a surprise for everyone. The only people that know are my parents and my sister. My dad saw the dress. He said yes to the dress as well. You'll probably have already seen the post on Instagram. I haven't posted it yet, but by the time this plays, when my dad bought the dress for me, I was like, we should say Dad said yes to the dress. And so we had him hold the sign too, that he said yes to the dress. And I found this dress, and it's like, I knew what I wanted in the dress. And I thought, well, if I don't find exactly what I want, I'll keep looking and I will find it. And everyone's like, oh, you can't find a dress. You need at least 9 months and blah, blah, blah. So the second dress I put on, because I really had an idea of what I was looking for. It was the second dress I put on, which, by the way, my sister found. She also found both my dogs. So she was like, by the way, I found your dress, found both your dogs, whatever, you're welcome. If you knew my sister, she's just like so funny like that. So yes, she found both of my dogs that are a perfect little match. And she found this dress, which is not something I would have thought it's the style I wanted, but there's a detail that I'll tell you later that I did not think I would have chosen. And it just wouldn't have imagined it. So, but it's everything I want. I was like looking in the mirror, and I had the moment. Oh my gosh, you guys, when I said the moment, I've been recording for 11 minutes and 11 seconds. That is crazy. I had that moment where I teared up, and I wasn't feeling emotional at all. And I was like, why do people cry when they find the dress? I'm like, okay. And then it was the moment she put the dang veil on me. She put the veil on, and I saw the dress, and then I just was like, oh my gosh. And I started picturing him at the end of the aisle and like really marrying him and looking at him. And it just like, I was thinking, wow, whenever I've thought these thoughts about anybody else, it never felt like this. It never felt so calm and secure and easy. And so it's like zero question. I mean, there's not even a question of a question. You know what I mean? Like this is the person I want to be with at the end of every single day. This is the person I want to talk to first. Like your significant other truly becomes your best friend, the person you want to talk to more than anybody, the person that is like, they do become your everything in a way that nobody else can. And it's just, I'm saying this to you because I want you to know that if it's not that, it's not it. If there's questions, if he's cheated, if he's lied, if he's hiding his phone, if he's, saying one day he wants commitment, the next day he doesn't. If you're chasing, if you're unsure, if he's making you feel bad about yourself, it's all a no-go. We cannot, in fact, the single woman, Mandy Hale is her name. I just screenshot a post, and I love her content. Like she is, if you are single, just have her in your feed, because her posts are just so, she posted here, once is a mistake, 2 or more times is a choice. And if they keep choosing to hurt you, lie to you, betray you, disappoint you, abandon you, why do you keep choosing to stay? If he's making you cry, if he's making you question everything about yourself, if he's gaslighting you, if he's making you feel crazy, if he's calling you crazy, if he's turning you into a private detective, trying to figure out what he's doing, feeling and not feeling, if he's constantly ignoring your needs to favor his own, and he's convincing you to do the same, he is not the one for you. And if you lost him, but you found peace of mind, happiness, dignity, confidence, smile, your smile, your sanity, yourself, you won. And that's in her book called Don't Believe the Swipe on page 192. Even though I'm not single anymore, I still love her content because it's a reminder that yes, he's not making me cry. He's not making me question myself. He's not gaslighting me. In fact, he makes me feel more sane than crazy. Sometimes I'll say, am I just crazy right now? Like last night, I was just emotional about planning wedding stuff and family. And there's just some details, when you plan a wedding, you're looking at who you're inviting and different dynamics. And there were just some things I was talking through, and I was like, do I sound crazy? And he's like, no, you're just working through it. And he's like, you just need to talk through it. And, at some points I got emotional about certain things, and he was just like, just let it out, babe. Just being there. And then I looked at him and I was like, I know you want to have a solution right now. And he was like, oh, yes, I want to have a solution. It's like, it's okay sometimes. And I said, this is a solution. Sometimes girls just need to cry on their guy. And the fact that I can just be here with you and do this, and then I can wipe my tears and go on. It's just like, it's all we need sometimes, right? And he felt so there for me in that moment. And it's just, there's just such a freedom to grow, to be who I am, to tell him I just made a cup of coffee. He went down to his office to do his work. I'm going to go record a podcast. We gave each other a kiss and a hug and loved on the dogs. It's like, this is the life that I want to live with somebody. It is me being me in my own life and having someone to share that with, and then him bringing so much more to it, so much more dimension. And something I really always was jealous of so many different couples, of how their significant other could be involved with their family, talk to their parents, talk to their cousins, brothers, sisters, like Iain's just, and it didn't happen right away. I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, it wasn't like soulmate connections with all my family right away. And I realized, because they don't know each other. It took a few times, everybody getting to know each other. And now it feels like that. And so, but he wasn't going to try to force relationships with other people like Gumball guys would do. Like, he just let it happen naturally as we continue to spend time with people. It's just been normal. And so my goal for you is to help you get to the point where you are ready to have this type of relationship. So, as you know, my mission is stop the cycle of sugar high romance, discover your worth, find true love. I'm going to be saying that over and over again. If we don't stop the cycle, then we cannot discover our worth. So many people are like, Melissa, I can't afford coaching, but I'm still on a dating app. I'm still going to pay this amount. So if you are, I'm looking for the girls that are like, I can't afford to continue this. If you say I can't afford coaching, I'm going to say, but can you afford another 2 years of a gumball guy, a guy that you think is going to be great? Like, you right now, you could meet a guy that you think is going to be great, or you think is great, and he'll be wonderful for about 3 months. And then you're going to see his phone, or he's going to leave his Apple Watch somewhere, which is a thing that's been happening lately with a lot of my clients, where they discover the Apple Watch, the messages come in, and they see, oh, he's been talking to somebody else. And you're like, how did I miss that? And then you go through the devastation one more time, brokenhearted, like, I thought this guy was different. And then you reevaluate the red flags that you saw in the beginning and you try to overlook them. And one more time, you're going through that cycle. And then you have to go through the embarrassment of explaining it to your family. And then and this happened to me over and over again. I have friends, cousins, they've been married right now. I'll be getting married, and they'll have been married to 15 to 20 years. And I've spent that amount of time looking at what is different about them and me. Why do they get it and I don't? Why are they attracting a guy that loves them, that doesn't cheat on them? I mean, I have so many friends and family members. Their husband has never cheated on them, never texted another girl, never given them a reason not to trust them ever. It's just not who they are. And it's like, it's not who I am. It's not who you are. You're just not that kind of person. I mean, Iain could relax forever and ever and know there is never going to be some guy that's going to tempt me into cheating on him ever. He's never going to find a text from another guy ever. It's just not who I am. So the goal is to find people where this is just, it's not in their nature. They're not driven. They're not tempted in that way. There's never going to be a guy that's like, hey, beautiful. And I'm going to be like, ooh, I want to hear more of that. But sometimes we're dating a guy where we don't realize that is the kind of guy he is. And the signs are there. The system that we've developed here with Gumball Love is so solid that if you will take the time, a lot of girls will take the quiz and they look at the quiz results and they're like, yeah, but, and we're telling all the stories about the guy. I want you to, if you sign up and you take this quiz, and we have this quiz in beta version right now, that I'm continuing to work with my clients because it's so solid. It will literally identify, is he a gumball guy? What kind of gumball guy is he? What attention are you giving guys? And why are you giving it to him? This is the thing that I didn't even have even as the creator of Gumball Love. I would attract an attention-seeking guy, which, by the way, is every bad guy. Good guys are not attention-seeking guys. They're connection-seeking guys. So I can literally narrow this down to, is he a gumball guy? If he's not, and you're attracted to him, he's worth pursuing. It's that simple. But if he's attention seeking, then we need to evaluate, how bad is it? What kind of attention is he seeking? Is he aware of it? Is there any way to salvage this? Or can we work with this guy? Because, everybody likes attention to a certain degree, but we're going to give you an idea of severity. Who is this guy? How bad is it? Now, let's say he's in the past. You're like, Melissa, I don't even need to evaluate that guy because I'm not with him anymore, but I don't want to be with another guy like him. Okay, so we'll still take the quiz on that guy. Let's take the quiz on that guy and the guy before him and the guy before him. Even if those guys are 20 years ago, I don't care because the patterns are there. So when I say stop the cycle of sugar high romance, I mean stop the cycle that goes back years, that goes all the way back to your teenage years. We're doing our VIP group coaching along with the one-on-one coaching, and we brought the girls back in the group last week, and we did exercises where I had a couple of girls volunteer to be in the hot seat, and they said, this goes back to when I was in junior high. This goes back to my very first relationships. This goes back to how I felt as a teenager. And so being able to go and find those root causes of, that's why I am taking time with a guy that I shouldn't, because this pattern is repeating. And if you do not stop that cycle, you will not ever find true love. And I know that sounds dramatic, but it's true. I did not find true love until I stopped the cycle. And there was somebody that posted something this morning in my morning scrolling. So if you follow the right people, your morning scrolling can be somewhat productive, because the video said, you're breaking generational curses and behaviors. That's why things don't come easily for you. I was like, wow. And you're exactly what it says. You're who your bloodline has been waiting for. So if you think back, I guarantee you, women before you have dated gumball guys or been married to gumball guys. And you have seen this in your life, whether it was your mom or your grandma or your aunts or your uncles. You've seen this around you, and it's normal. And I know even a lot of my girls in the Latina community and even the Greek community. And, I think those of us that don't have the purest ethnic, we might have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But if your ethnicity is pure, like you're 100% something, you probably have even more pressure on you to be with a certain type of guy and have it a certain type of way. Like, I know this is true I'm Greek Orthodox, and all the Greek women put a lot of pressure on their kids to date Greek men. I know a lot of women that are Indian. Their parents want them to meet Indian men. I'm just so like fangirling over the Indian culture, especially since Love is Blind. I want to do a whole podcast on Love is Blind, but I just feel like there's something so cool going on with the Indian community. If you didn't hear my podcast with Sony Pelty several episodes back, probably like last year, I can't remember if our conversations were online or offline, that we had just about how the older generations of Indian culture to the new generations, to the Indians that have grown up in the US, and they're, everyone's kind of fighting this feeling of that I have to be married at a certain time and that I have to be married to a certain type of person. And in some cultures, it's I know I'll just say my Latina women that have told me this, they've said, the gumball guy behavior is taught by a lot of our moms and grandmas as this is just how it is. This is how men are. And this is how this is just normal. Men are going to look at other women. Like even the cheating aspect, they're just like, this is just kind of part of it and you have to deal with it. And I'm like, oh my God, you're kidding me. And they're like, no, they'll, our older generation women will tell us like, this is just part of the deal. So look at all that programming that we're getting put into us because we have older generations, different cultures, different perspectives, women that have grown up with different expectations. And so depending on where you are and how that fits in, I'm not saying one is right or wrong. Well, I am saying one is wrong. That gumball guy behavior, here's what I think. Like Iain and I have this debate. It'll be like, where are they from? And then, different cultures have different ideas. And yes, there can be stereotypes to a certain degree. But I feel like I don't care where you're from. I don't care what culture you're from. It doesn't matter. A gumball guy is a gumball guy is a gumball guy. And I don't care. There are rich gumball guys. There are poor gumball guys. There are, it doesn't matter. You can be a plumber or work on Wall Street. The same exact behavior will be there. Exactly. The same patterns. I bet you, and in fact, I know, if I have you take the quiz and you're dating a multimillionaire or you're dating a musician that's got his guitar and he's playing on the street for whoever throws cash in, and you take the quiz on them and you dated both of them, it wouldn't matter to me. It doesn't matter if the cycle is there, the cycle is there. So if you're able to identify it, you don't have to worry about these types of like, who is this person? Is he like, the white collar guys are better than the blue collar guys, or the blue collar guys? All of that to me, in my opinion, based on all the research I've done, is irrelevant. So now, if you want to date somebody that is a certain culture, or you want to date someone who's in your religion, all of those things become important to you. But I'm saying that is aside from attention-seeking behavior. So you can be compatible in all those areas, but if they're attention-seeking, it doesn't matter how compatible you are. So if you watched Love is Blind and Deep D and Shake, on paper, they would have been perfectly compatible. But in reality, they are not compatible. So they were both Indian, and that would have made their families happy to a certain degree. If you haven't watched Love is Blind, you're going to, then just fast forward this part. But there is a woman, her name is Deep D. She is Indian, and her parents wanted her to date an Indian guy. His parents wanted him to date an Indian woman, and they had both only dated white people their whole lives. And so they met on Love is Blind. And then there was this issue with him not being physically attracted to her. And he was such a disgusting person. In fact, I never make troll comments. I made a troll comment on his Instagram. I was so grossed out by him. And she ended up not choosing him. She denied him at the altar. She was like, I deserve somebody who wants me. And here I am telling this story when I was going to do another podcast. But I'm like so geeked out about Deep D because the way they edited her segments, I wasn't sure what she was going to do. And he was so disrespectful to her, talked about her behind camera. I feel like I'm dating my aunt, but I have this amazing connection. This kind of connection only comes. So it's like, in some ways he quote unquote saw her value, but in other ways he would just talk shit behind her back to her family and to her friends and just not be, he just wasn't a good person. Right. And so it was like, okay, I've got this Indian guy. I'm Indian. My family's happy. And he's, I'm attracted to him, and maybe he'll become attracted to me because she had come from her culture of arranged marriages. And, they've been able to work that out. And, I'm sure like some of that was going through her mind. She was talking about that, like, a lot of Indian people have been able to work through that, and they have been able to fall in love, and they can make it work. So yes, it's possible, but she was putting all this pressure on herself and working through the decision. And then ultimately she was like, I choose myself. And her mom and her had this beautiful moment where it's like, man, that's my kid and I love my kid and I'm here for you. And this is a tough moment, but you're making the right choice because you deserve somebody who loves you. You deserve somebody who looks at you, they look at you and they're attracted to you. Like that is something you cannot let anyone put a ring on your finger and you not know that you know that you know, because you deserve to sit in that comfort and that security and that calm. And so that's what I want you to take away from this, is that when it's the right person, you will feel that sense of calm. And it will be because one, you're making the right choice for yourself, and you'll know that they love you for the right reasons, that they are really invested in you, your family, who you are, your mind. I remember when my godfather, because I converted from Catholic to Orthodox when I was 22. And so I had to have a sponsor, like godparent, quote unquote godparents, but I was an adult. But I chose great godparents, and my godfather, his name is Sam, he told me I was going on a date, God knows with who at 22. And he was like, he goes, Melissa, marry the man who falls in love with your brain, not your body. And I was like, I remember where I was standing in his house, and I was like, okay. And I knew I was going to remember that moment. And over the years, that comment would come back to me, and I would think, is this person in love with my brain? And sometimes it necessarily wasn't just about my body, but it was just more about they were in love with the attention. They were in love with the other things. But when it came time to me expressing myself about whatever I felt on my heart, what I believed, they would check out. They would want me to entertain them. They would want it would always come back to them, and I would feel ignored. I would feel dismissed, disregarded. And then I would sit there and think, maybe it's because maybe it has something to do with me. Maybe I'm not enough. And so I would start to push myself to do more, or I would start to, I would try to be more entertaining. I would try to be more exciting. I would stop talking about the thing I was talking about and assume that it wasn't good enough. Does that make sense? Like I would start questioning, okay, that probably was stupid, or I probably am talking about that for too long, and then slowly but surely over time, I lost myself. So I want you to also think about this. If you do not stop this cycle, and you're taking a risk, a huge risk, you're gambling with another guy that could be wrong for you, and then that guy who's wrong for you also makes you lose parts of yourself. So not only do you have to waste the time with the guy, then you go through the destructiveness of a person that you develop feelings for, now makes you have self-doubt, and now takes pieces from you that you have to then build back. And that takes time. So there's healing, there's rebuilding, then you have to get your confidence back. You have to now undo the damage that's been done. What kinds of things did he say? And when you take them in and like they say mean things to you, or just even little things, the littlest thing can be the dumbest. It could be about your hair, your nails, the clothes you wear, the purse you carry, like it can be like small stuff like that, about your dogs, about your family, about whatever. They went to one event and they make a comment, and then you're just like, that crap just sticks with you. And then that's the stuff, like that's to me, the gamble that isn't worth it. So right now I'm taking one-on-one clients, and I'm going to be working through the Level Up for Love program. So I have two things going, one-on-one and group. I'd love for you to be in both simultaneously, because I want you to be in these discussions that we're having every week, along with doing the work one-on-one, so that we can get you on the fast track of understanding, okay, what types of guys am I attracting? Why am I attracting them? What flavor of attention am I giving more often than not? Am I feeling sorry for guys? Am I pitying them? Am I attracting this chase me gumball guy where he's Mr. Unavailable? Am I kind of attracting the guy that's, maybe more on the sexual side, like he's super cute, but it's sort of mainly sexual. So that might be true, but why? What's going on there? What is that pattern? Why is that pattern repeating? Because you're probably getting frustrated because you keep feeling like the same guy's coming up. I keep having the same experience over and over again, and it's hopeless. So then you take yourself off the dating app. Then you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm getting older. So then I need to come back on the dating app. And then you're more frustrated because it's the same thing over. It's a cycle. It's a pattern. You have to stop it. And I can help you. Okay? So let's stop the cycle. The second step is discovering your worth. You have to know what you're worth so you know when a guy sees you for who you are. If you don't know what your value is, then you're not going to understand when a guy sees you and loves you for who you are. If you're questioning it like the previous guys made you do, they said things, they did things that make you question it. Now you're in that cycle of questioning yourself. You don't know your worth. So stop the cycle, discover your worth. Then you find true love. And that time frame doesn't have to be a long time frame. We can, depending on how hard you want to work at it, to figure out, okay, what is it that I'm doing? Why am I doing this? Where am I tempted? What red flags do I not see? And what are those cycles? Because sometimes the red flags, or it could be 1 or 2, or there could be 10. So when you take the quiz, we're going to get an idea of, okay, not only is he a gumball guy, but how severe is he, or how severe was he? So if he's in the past or the present. And then you can use this quiz for guys that you're dating. You can be like, okay, I'm dating this guy. I'm going to take the quiz. Do I see, are there any red flags? You guys, I labored over these flavors. And then when Iain came to Omaha, I was in the process of refining these flavors. And when we were driving on vacation to Tennessee, I came up with the idea of this quiz. I was like, what do you think? I go, will you listen to this podcast with me? And it's about creating a quiz. And that was, almost a year ago. And so we dove into every possible flag for all of these flavors. All of these behaviors encompasses every single aspect of how people try to seek attention. I can't find another category. If you can, I will create a gumball flavor in your honor if you can tell me an attention-seeking behavior that doesn't fall into sex or drama or wanting to be entertained or making you compete for another woman or feeling sorry for a guy or a guy that wants you to chase him, the guy that wants you to idolize him and make him the center of attention, or the guy that wants you to convince him you're the one, convince me love is real, convince me you're not like all the other women. Those are the 8 categories. And if you find another category, I will happily create an iridescent gumball. We'll figure out the color, but this is tried and true. This works, this system. In fact, I just got a message from my girl, Courtney, yesterday, and she coached in the Back to You Academy, and she just met or connected, she's been with the love of her life for a while, and she just recommended me on Instagram, and she was like, it helped me find my best friend. It was just like I'm trying to find her message here it is. She says, if you want to figure out yourself when it comes to your dating life, this is Courtney Lytle. If you want to figure out yourself when it comes to your dating life and how to identify red flags, I highly recommend working with Melissa Ledger. Her previous program literally changed my life and helped me find my best friend. Oh, I love it. So Courtney, I'm so happy for you. When Courtney and I worked together, she was so frustrated. We were just like going through the online dating process, and she was like, so many of you, like, I just want this to be done. I'm over it. She knew what she wanted. She's very confident, so beautiful, totally on top of it, on her game in all other areas. This is, by the way, if you're like on top of it in all other areas except for romance, you're probably my ideal client, because that's my girl. She's got it together. She's just like, why is everyone else finding love and I'm not? And it's just a matter of tweaking that cycle and that pattern, and I can help you with that. So as I share my journey with you, and as I had dinner with my dad after we bought the wedding dress and just sat and talked about the wedding, it was just kind of a fun moment with my dad. And And I told him, I said, I kind of have a little bit of guilt sharing my love and this happy journey because, I remember being a sad single girl for so long, and somebody talking about their wedding was like, I was happy for them, but it's like enough already. And he said, yeah, but you need to give them the goal and see that you achieved love and that you got there, and that will give them hope. And so he was like, yeah, Dad, you're right. So I want to share that with you. So I'm sharing that with you so you can see. And those of you that know me, I did the work. I didn't settle. How I was before Iain and I reconnected. I was dancing. I was doing masterminds. I was creating content for this platform, and I was living my best life. And that's what I want to get you to, where you just feel good about yourself before he even arrives in your life. You feel amazing. You feel like this life is great. I could live this life forever. And if a guy comes along, great. If he doesn't, then I'm good because I am blessed. Because you guys, let's look around in the world. There's so much going on, and being single is really not that big of a problem. You know what I mean? Like, we are so blessed and fortunate. So many of us are. And so many people are going through so much more than we are. So just sometimes we have to put ourselves in check and recognize that, there are much bigger problems, and that we can live an incredible life while we are single. But I also want you to have that expectation that your time is coming. I want you to really get definitive about that. I am going to meet somebody. It is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. So how do I want the love of my life to find me? What do I want to be doing when he finds me? And how do I want to be feeling? What kind of expression do you want to have on your face when he finds you? You don't know where it's going to happen. You don't know when, you don't know how. So how is it? What do you want to be doing, saying, seeing, experiencing when the love of your life comes into your life? And that's what I want to help you on this journey. So I'm going to end it here, guys. Thank you so much. I will keep you posted on all the wedding plans, and I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek of the band we chose. I'm so excited because, it's all going to be dancing and ballroom themed. It's all about the dancing at my wedding. So I will keep you guys posted. We will give you the play-by-play. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you want more information or to schedule a private coaching session, or better yet, to join the next Back to You Academy, go to gumballlove.com. If you loved this podcast, I would love for you to share it with your friends. And if you really loved it, a 5-star review is the best compliment you can give. Remember, you are enough, you are right where you should be, and the only thing you have to do is keep going. I'll leave you with my favorite quote by Henry David Thoreau. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you have imagined. Until next time, I'll see you soon.